What's up guys, Brad Campbell here, and in this video I want to give you an SEO overview. So some of you are brand new to SEO, some of you are sort of intermediate, and maybe a few of you are advanced, but I think a lot of you are going to come in here and understand that SEO, or search engine optimization, is basically your ability to rank high in the search engines, and the main search engine obviously is Google. So for all intents and purposes, when I say SEO, I mean your ability to get ranked in Google's organic or free search results. So let's do a search here for lazy MLM. Let me move the screen a little bit. So people come to Google obviously every day, including you. You do searches, and here are the results. Actually, let's do a different one. Weight loss. Okay. If my computer goes here. Okay, so people come and do Google searches. Just for those of you who are super new, and I promise I will try to make this quick for those who are more advanced. But you have ad space up here. Okay, and it says, see, these all say ad next to them. Then sometimes Google will include stuff like, a map or their own little listing right here. And then you have ads down the right hand side, okay? So, let me hide this. So the top is ads, and the right hand column is ads, and then right here, and actually sometimes see Google experiments with a lot of new things. So like at this is technically part of the organic listings too. Sometimes they'll pull out news stories or do their own little summary right here, whatever it is. But basically right below this ad and right to the left of these ads, this is what's called the organic listings. Okay, so from all of these on down, and they usually list 10 results. Sometimes if they add something else like this, it's like 11 counting this, but 10 results. These are what's called the organic or free search results, okay? And then this would be considered paid ads, or the name for it is Google AdWords. Okay, so those are entrepreneurs and business owners who are actually paying money to be shown right there, and then when people click on their listing, they get usually charged per click. Okay, so this can be very costly. The benefit is that it's instant, but it can be hard to get approved, and affiliates and network marketers can't really do it because Google doesn't like those. It's not that they don't like those type of sites, it's just that they don't need middlemen paying for ads. They want people who are selling stuff off their own site, so just keep that in mind. For local, AdWords actually can work really well, and Dan knows a lot about that. But the foundation of everything we're going to teach you as far as how to monetize, how to rank and bank, is this SEO. And when we say SEO, we mean this right here, these free organic listings. Okay, so these are 100% free. Yes, we'll have some costs involved, just like any business, but we're not paying to be here. And so the question is how do we get to the top? Because studies show as well, I should note this, that people are getting more and more what's called ad blindness. So they know these are ads, and they're actually way more likely to click on these organic listings right here because they know people aren't paying for the results. So you're going to get a lot more traffic and a lot more clicks if you can master this. Plus, it's technically free, whereas this is going to cost you every single time someone visits your site. Okay, so that's how I've made so much money personally online, so much profit, which is why I consider my alter ego the profit pimp, is because when I say I make $40,000 in a month like I did last month, that was almost all profit. Yes, I have some baseline costs, but really my monthly costs these days are very minimum as far as my lazy MLM blog, because I've already kind of put in a little bit of money to build my foundation to get ranked, and that was back in the day, and now I don't really have to do any links or any work. I just blog once in a while, so that's almost all profit. So getting here, believe me, is the name of the game. That's what we're going to learn. That's what we're going to teach. That's what we're going to build the foundation of our business around, whether you're a network marketer, whether you're an affiliate marketer, whether you're doing local SEO, either the local affiliate model that we'll explain, or selling local SEO to search to your local dentist or whatever it is. you want to get them right here. I'm not saying that you can't do YouTube videos and social media marketing and AdWords and paid ads to supplement that if you want. You don't really need to, but if you want, you can. But this is the name of the game. So 90% of what we focus on inside the click is just becoming a gangster at ranking high on page 1 of the organic free results in Google. Because when you know how to do that, and you can rinse and repeat and do this in any industry, in any niche, for any keywords, you can literally write your own paycheck. Okay, and right now what we're going to be teaching you, it absolutely works 100% of the time as long as you follow through. Okay, so this is where we're trying to rank. And just so to give you an example, if you're a network marketer and you're in isogenics, we're going to teach you, how to get ranked for buyer keywords for people who already want to buy what you're selling. So you might want to rank for best isogenic products. You might want to rank for best isogenic sponsor. You might want to rank for how to buy isogenics online. All right, you want to be right here. If let's say this girl's selling isogenics, I'm sure she's making quite a bit of money, right? This is where all the money's at. So if you're a network marketer, if you're doing local SEO for your local dentist, Chandler, Arizona dentist, you want to be right here, these top organic listings. Now in local, there's also something called Google Places, Google Maps, Google Local, whatever you want to call it, where Google will organize right here and put a map and a phone number and reviews and stuff like that. And that's just kind of something they do. We also know how to optimize these. It's a little bit less scientific than this, but what's cool is you'll see in most local searches, the organic listings, which remember, this is ads, these are ads, these are 3 organic listings, then you have Google Maps, then you have the rest of the organic listings. So the organic listings are actually above the maps, so it's still like this is where most of the money is at, and then maps are important too, obviously. Dan gets a lot of business off of his maps listings. But here, we've found that these will basically follow the root domain. So if you get your domain that you're working on for yourself or your client ranked and optimized and ranked high on page 1 for all the terms, generally speaking, they're gonna climb to the top of the maps as well. So it just kind of follows suit. And with maps, you just want reviews, pictures, videos. You want to fill it out completely. And do what's called local citations. And so if and when you go and get local clients, just remember to ask us about maps, and we'll give you sort of the blueprint on how to optimize your maps. And then the majority of our course is on these organic listings right here. So we want to be right here, and maybe run an AdWords campaign for them right here if they're willing to spend the money on it. Okay, so that's a little bit about Google search results and sort of the different terms and what I mean when I say SEO and free listings. So this is where we're trying to get. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how we're going to get there. Okay, so there are basically 3 simple parts, right? You have your blog. Okay, let's say this represents your blog. You have your content on your blog. And then you have votes or backlinks coming in to your blog. This is literally the 3 parts. These are links, and links are just basically votes. They're other websites, blogs, properties, whatever it is, that have put a clickable link through to your blog, to your content. Okay, so this is the 3 parts. So if you have the right kind of blog, the right kind of content, and the right kind of links, you will rank number 1, or at least on top of page 1 in Google in the free organic listings. And that's what we're trying to get. 3 parts: the right blog, the right content, and the right links. Okay, now for some of you who are doing local SEO, what's cool is you might not have to touch their blog or their content. You might have to tweak it a little bit. You might just give them suggestions and have their webmaster do it. That's usually how we prefer to do it. And I don't want to cover too much in this video. Again, this is just about the overview, but I'm just trying to think of questions as they might come up in your mind. You know, like let's say you're leaning towards local, you might go, well, geez, I don't know how to make sites for dentists and stuff like that. Typically, they're already going to have a site made. They're already going to have a web guy. And, you know, if they do need changes made, to save your time and, you know, spend their money and not yours, I typically just make a list or make a little screencast video of what I want changed, and I say, hey, give this to your web guy and make sure he does these changes. Okay, so I typically tend to not even like to touch their sites because it saves me time and effort, and it keeps me from messing something up, and it keeps me from having to learn super technical stuff. Okay. So just know that if you're doing your own blog, obviously, you know, we're going to show you how to set up Google-friendly blogs that are going to rank high or have the highest likelihood of ranking high in Google, because there are certain things that Google likes to see that will make your blog rank higher faster. And then content, that's the second thing. That's huge. I would say the blog plus the content is maybe 30 to 40% of the overall ranking, you know, equation, so to speak. And then these links are, 60 to 70%. So links still, or the votes coming in, are still the primary driving force for getting you to the top of page one in Google. So this stuff is really quick and easy to learn, and we'll obviously be covering that. I have an awesome on-page SEO checklist that I created, and Dan and I did a video on-page optimization and took you through an example on lazy MLM. And then that checklist, you want to follow that verbatim, because that'll show you how to really structure your content in a way that Google loves. And when you do that right, when you do the blog right and the content right and follow that on-page checklist, what's cool is you need way fewer of these links. Okay? A lot of people don't understand that. So they get, you know, this wrong, and this is not very good or not very well optimized. And then what happens is they need to spend a lot more time and energy getting these votes, because they have strikes against them on their blog and within their content that they don't even realize. Okay, so you need to understand that we want to optimize every piece, but especially 1 and 2, because this is quick and easy and free. And this is where the manual labor and the expenses come in. Okay, so the more we optimize 1 and 2, and I know this is getting really sloppy, the less time, the less energy, the less effort, and less money we'll have to spend on our links. And that's a proven fact, and it's only going to become more important going forward. So you want a really well optimized, lightweight, Google-friendly blog that's structured the right way, that Google can read, that their robots can find and figure out what you're talking about really easily. Again, we cover all this in future videos. And then your content, man, the more compelling it is, the longer, the more in-depth, the more comprehensive, the better written, the better it flows, the more pictures and videos, and the best user experience that you can provide, the more interaction. All those things play into it. And again, I cover all of them, but this is free and easy and fast, and so you want to maximize these two parts so that this becomes a lot easier. And then when you do that and use the techniques we're going to be teaching you to go out and manufacture these votes, I mean, you can just, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, you know. It's so easy, it's almost not even fair. Okay, so let's clear this off and go over to lazymlm.com. Okay, so for those who are really new, of course, this is what I mean when I say a link. Anything that's basically clickable. So if I click Brad Campbell, that's a link. Let's go back here. With a link, if there are words here, or a sentence or one word, this is what's called the anchor text of the link. Okay, so the link is actually the clickable part that takes me to another page on the web. Okay, the anchor text in this case is Brad Campbell. The anchor text in this case is pound your mouse right here. The anchor text in this case, see, this is all clickable, is this entire title. The anchor text in this case is case studies. Okay, the anchor text in this page on this link is see this coaching page. Now, if I had a link that was clickable right here, but it was like, it looked like this, that's what's called a naked link, or a raw URL. It doesn't have an anchor text. Okay, it's still clickable. It's still a link. It still clicks through to another page on the web. In this case, my about page. But I didn't use words to describe the link, so it's a raw or a naked link. Okay, it's still a link. Anything that's clickable is a link. So this is what we want coming into our site. Links, right? These links are votes. Google looks at these as votes. And ranking in Google in the free organic section that I just showed you is essentially a popularity contest. Once you have the right blog and the right content, it just comes down to links, and it's a popularity contest. So the better the votes you have and the higher the quality the votes you have, the higher you rank, the faster you rank, and the longer you rank. Okay, so you get your blog right, you get your content right, and you go out and get the right types of links. Now what we're going to teach you is the ultimate, most high quality types of links so that you need the fewest amount. Okay, so it's going to be faster and easier. Again, we do spend a little bit of money to acquire sort of our sites that we use to link from, but trust me, it goes way faster than anything else you could possibly do. Okay, so remember, this is a link, and the more links and the better links. Now, what do I mean when I say better links? Well, you could get a link from any site on the entire web, right? But obviously, just use a little common sense here. If you're Google, which types of votes would you give more weight to? You know, like what types of votes would mean something to you? Let's say I want Lazy MLM to rank for, best MLM company, okay? And I go out and I get 10 links, okay? And one of those links is a link from a porn site, right? Like there's a random link to my site from a porn site, okay? So obviously a porn site is not related to what I'm talking about. It's kind of scuzzy. It's kind of frowned upon. It's kind of dirty. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it's a link. It's a vote, okay? How much weight do you think Google gives to that link? Not very much, right? That should be obvious, okay? Now, let's say one of my links is from Wikipedia, from Wikipedia's page on MLM or network marketing, and it's linking to me. Now, do you think that vote would give me more of a boost in rankings? They're both links, both one link from each site, okay? One vote coming in from each site. Now, the porn link would probably not help me at all. If anything, it might hurt me because, yes, if you have too many negative sites linking to you, it could actually do you more harm than good. So not all links are created equal, and some are even bad for you. But generally speaking, it's hard to get bad links unless someone's just out to get you. But the Wikipedia link, of course, is going to be one of the strongest links I could possibly get because it's from an authoritative, highly respected, just ridiculous traffic site that Google loves, that ranks for everything, and it gets millions and millions of visitors. Do you see the difference there? And it's from a topically relevant page. It's from Wikipedia's page on MLM, linking to me, to my page about best MLM company. So it's topically relevant. It's from a reputable source. And so that would be like the ultimate link. So one link from Wikipedia could be worth like thousands of links from, low quality sites or unrelated sites. You see what I'm saying? So what makes the quality go up from a link, and remember, the higher the quality of the links, the fewer we need. The fewer we need, the less work we have to do, the less money we have to spend. So you want to go for quality so that we can be as efficient as possible. You want it to be relevant. You want it to be what's called in context. And what that means is not a link up here in your nav bar, not a link here in your sidebar, not a link down in your footer, a link here right within your content. Okay, that's called like a citation. So if I'm doing a sports article and I'm talking about the game last night and I link off to a site on this athlete and it's within my content, that's called an in context. It's within the context of the body of the article. Okay, that typically means one author is giving props to another author or blogger or website owner. Okay, so Google gives that more love. Okay, now remember, if it's up in the nav bar or in the sidebar or in the footer, that's something that you could pay for, or you could just stick in there when you're just trying to get links. It's easier, it doesn't mean much. It's site wide, like, this nav bar shows up on every page of my site. This sidebar shows up on every page of my site. So it's overkill, it's redundant, it looks a little bad. Whereas this looks more natural. It looks like I'm giving props to someone if I'm linking off to their site. Okay, so relevant, in context, and then this anchor text that we talked about. This is important. This tells Google the words that you use to describe the link tells Google what the resulting page is about. Okay, so if you use a naked URL here like this, well, it tells Google's robot that it's going to click through to this, and it's about lazymlm.com/about, which really doesn't mean much, right? Because we're not trying to rank for lazymlm.com/about. But if we would instead use an anchor text like I did here called Brad Campbell, that tells Google that this page right here, because this is what it clicks to, is about Brad Campbell. So that's actually going to help this page rank for this term, Brad Campbell. That's why the anchor text becomes important. It tells Google what the link is about. So the more we can describe our link here, the better chances we have of ranking for it. So my ultimate link in this hypothetical messy example, if I wanted to rank for best MLM company, let's say, would probably be like a link from Wikipedia on their page about MLM, with an anchor text of best MLM company. That would be like about as good as it could get, okay? In the middle of their article, okay? It would be relevant, it would be in context, it would be from an authority site. And it would have anchor text that describes the keyword I'm trying to rank for. Now that's really sloppy, so let's just actually go to Wikipedia, for example. Let's just search for MLM, because Google loves Wikipedia and they're first for everything. So this is why I say this would be the ultimate link, because whatever Google respects the most, I mean, that's what you want the links from. Okay, so Wikipedia is number one. It's hard to argue that they would look. I mean, look at their Alexa rank. There's only 5 websites in the entire world that have more traffic than they do. Google loves them. They rank for everything. So this is a Wikipedia page. This is obviously topically relevant. This is a high authority site. Here, see all these links right here? Now, most of the time they're just linking to their own stuff, but if I had a link on this page right here, it's authoritative, it's topically relevant. Let's say it was right here, it would be in context. And then let's say they happen to say best MLM compensation plan as the anchor text. In this case, remember, this anchor text is direct selling. But let's say this was a link to me and it said best MLM compensation plan, and it linked to my page on best MLM compensation plan. This would be like the ultimate link. It's authoritative, it's relevant, it's in context, and it has an anchor text that describes what I'm talking about. It doesn't get much better than that. If such a link existed, I pretty much guarantee I would be number one in Google with no other links. Why? Because the quality of that link is just absolutely perfect. It's pretty much as high as you could possibly get. Now, contrast that with a link from a porn site, from the footer of a porn site. Let's just go down here. And this is just really silly example, because I don't know why you'd ever get a link from a footer in a porn site, but this is like your footer. Okay, let's say they put some link to your site down here in their footer, and this is a really scuzzy, shady, low quality porn site, and this links to you. Okay, it's not topically relevant, it wouldn't be in context. Let's say it was a naked link, like it just said lazymlm.com. It would have no anchor text. It's just bad on all accounts. Okay, it's just it's not going to help you at all. If anything, it might hurt you. Okay, so that's sort of the difference. But remember, these links are votes, and the better votes we have and the more we have, the higher, the faster, the easier, the longer term we're going to rank in Google. Okay, that's all we want to do, is have a good blog, good content, and then go out and get good votes. That's the name of the game. It's 3 simple things. Once you have your blog done, you really don't have to think about that again. That's taken care of. Once you understand what makes good content, you go through that on-page checklist. You're not really that's going to be second nature for you. You know, when you go and create a new blog post or article or video or whatever it is, you're just automatically going to do the right things. Like Wikipedia is the golden example too. I mean, you just see how they optimize things, and this is all stuff I go over, but with their permalink, with their title, bolding the keyword, okay, interlinking, flows well, comprehensive, awesome, share-worthy content. Okay, that's the name of the game. So you'll do the blog, you'll learn how to do the content properly, and then the only other thing you'll ever have to think about or really work at is the third part, which is acquiring these votes. Okay, so now a little bit about these votes. So you might be saying, okay, sounds good. So what do? Go ask Wikipedia for a link? If only it were that easy. And that's why the SEO is such a huge, in-demand, hot market, and it's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars, because if you know how to shortcut and speed up this process, you can write your own check. You can rank for anything. You can monetize it any way you want to, okay? And we're going to tell you about all those different strategies that we use to monetize it, okay? You can rank your own stuff. You can rank client stuff. You can rank MLM stuff, network marketing stuff, affiliate stuff, anything. You could sell stuff off Amazon, off ClickBank, off eBay. You could sell your own products and services. You could sell coaching. You could rank sites and rent pages. You could rank your own sites, capture leads, and sell the leads. Okay, all kinds of stuff. We'll get to all of that. I'm just excited, so I'm like going off on tangents, but that's the name of the game. Okay, so let's talk about the third and most important and hardest to go out there and do piece of this, which is number 3, the votes, the links. It's the hardest thing. The blog's easy. The content, after you go through that once, that's easy. Okay, so the third part and most important part, these links, this is hard to get, right? Because you can't just make your blog, write your content, and cross your fingers and hope that people start finding you and Wikipedia starts linking to you. No one's going to find you. It's not going to happen. So you need to start that process yourself. And ideally, if your content is strong enough, the cool thing is that like with Lazy MLM, I jump-started this process exactly how I'm going to teach you how to do it. But then once I got ranked and people started finding my site, people link to it and they share my stuff, and it takes on this organic, sort of vote acquisition. So these links start coming to you automatically without you having to go out and ask for them and do them, because your content's so good. So that's another reason why you have to put your heart and soul into your content if you're creating your own content. If you're doing local SEO, you just need to make sure your client's content is solid. Okay. So how do you go out and get these? Well, you could go out to social media accounts and link to yourself, and you probably should. You can go do press releases and link back to yourself, and you probably should. You can make YouTube videos and link to yourself in the description, and you probably should. You can tell friends and family and encourage them to share it on their social media accounts. Remember, anything that clicks back to you is a link. So if someone goes and shares your post on Facebook, and they put it in their newsfeed, and they can click, and their friends can click through that link to yours, that's a vote. So that's a link. Okay, so there are lots of different ways to get links. The real links, though, remember I say, come from topically relevant, authoritative sites that are in context, so in the middle of, let's say, a big article with the proper anchor text. So obviously a Facebook link in your timeline, well, that's definitely good, and that's going to help you. That doesn't meet a lot of the criteria. It's not topically relevant. It's not in context. It's not going to have the anchor text. And it's probably what's called a no-follow link, which means they put some code on it to where the link juice from Facebook doesn't really pass to you. That's a little bit more advanced than I want to get in this video, but I'm just trying to sort of really hammer home what makes a good link. Okay, so the other way to really go out and get these ideal links, because ultimately that's what we're after, any link you can get that's not from a scuzzy site is probably going to help you. But remember, we want to spend our time going after the links that are going to make us rank the highest, the fastest, and for the longest term. So that's these types of links. So how do we get those? The only real way to go out and do it is go out and just ask other website owners who have sites that you would want a link from, ask them to link to you. Okay, and most of them are going to say no or not respond, because why would they scratch your back if you've never done anything for them? Okay, so then the other thing to do would be scratch their back and they'll scratch yours. So the thing is, though, if you have a brand new site that's just starting off, you don't have much value, right? What can you really offer them? Let's say you're a MLM blog, and I have my Lazy MLM blog over here making probably like $60,000 in April 2014, and you're a brand new blog, you're not making any money, you're not offering to pay me, you have no followers, so you don't really have anything that can benefit me, and you say, hey Brad, can you link to me in your next article? Well, I'm going to say, what's in it for me? What can you do in return? And you might say, well, I could link back to you from my blog. Well, I don't need a link from your blog because your blog has no authority. Google doesn't respect it. They don't even know it exists yet. It's not going to help me, okay? You want links from sites that have PageRank and, ideally maybe some traffic or a long history in Google that Google respects, okay? So a link from my site is going to be worth quite a bit versus a link from a brand new site or a site that Google, doesn't hardly know about, or a site with, not much content, no incoming links to it, is not gonna give the end site much of a boost. So, if Joe Blow with his brand new MLM blog links to me, it's not going to do much for my site because Joe Blow's blog is irrelevant, insignificant, according to Google. It needs to get some authority. It needs to be around for a year or 2 or 3 years. It needs to get some content built out. It needs to get some page rank. Okay, it needs to get some love, some shares, some tweets, some signals that this is a high quality site. And then when you get a link from it, then it's going to do something for you. So again, going to an established website owner or like a Wikipedia, which is the most extreme example, there's no way they're ever going to link to you. It's just not going to happen. And it's hard to even go to a site like mine and get a link to you because there's nothing in it for me. I'm not going to link out to someone just to help them when it doesn't help me at all. So basically, and that's basically the next thing you could do is you could offer to guest post. So you could go to other, let's say you're trying to rank for an affiliate weight loss product, you could go to other weight loss blogs in your niche, and this is a little bit more doable. It's just a lot of manual effort, and you go and contact other relevant, authoritative weight loss blogs, and you say, hey, blogger, like your blog, I have a similar blog, I think I have something really cool that I can share with your audience, would you allow me to do a guest article here? And if they say yes, you write an awesome guest article for free, so you spend hours writing this awesome post, then you submit it to them, and then you just ask them for a link back to your site in exchange for the content you just gave them. So that's more of a, you scratch their back, they'll scratch yours. That's a little bit more doable as long as you're approaching sites that are kind of on your level, okay? So that can work. Having done that before, it's frustrating, it's time consuming because you might have to reach out to 10, 20, 30 sites before you get a yes. So it's kind of like the old, it's the online version of like going and knocking on doors and asking for favors. It's kind of hard, it kind of sucks, but if you want it bad enough and you don't want to spend any money and you understand you need these links, it can be done. So that's something you can totally do. What we prefer to do, I'll just get right to the point, is we prefer to go out and just make our own authoritative, relevant sites that we own and have full control over that we can link from anytime we please, okay? So even though this is pretty complicated and I covered a lot and some of you are completely new to this, does that make sense that if these links are what we need and they're hard, the right ones are hard, really hard and time consuming to come by, does it make sense that if we could just go out and own 5 or 10 sites that would provide ideal links, if we could just own them and have full control over them and not have to ask, not have to beg, not have to do favors, and we could just own them and go log in and make links back to our site? If I wanted to rank for Brad Campbell, I could go to this site I owned and make a link and have the anchor text say Brad Campbell and point to this page, let's say, that I want to rank for Brad Campbell. Does that make sense that would probably be the easiest, the fastest, and you'd have the most control over everything? I hope you're saying yes, because it absolutely does, and that's what we do, okay? So you may have heard this called like Private Blog Network or PBN, and basically, yeah, you're going out and you're acquiring a little network or a little group of websites or blogs, okay? And you're doing so in a way to where you're only getting sites that Google already likes, and then you're starting them over from a clean slate and theming them out so that they are topically relevant to what you're talking about, and then you're going and inserting the links that you need to the pages that you want to rank for your sites or your client sites. So that is what we're doing. Again, just let me drive this home, and then I'll wrap this overview up. Let's just use this so it's like a blank area. This is your site or your client's site. Let's just put W for website. So this is what you want to rank, and then we're going to show you how to go out and acquire other sites. Okay, these sites are authoritative. That's a really bad A. These sites are going to be topically relevant, and you're going to have full control over them. Okay, so that means they're going to be really high quality links, and you can go out and get links anytime you want from them. So it's really going to speed up the process, but because they're authoritative and relevant, and the links are going to be in context, the perfect links that Google loves to see, and we can use whatever anchor text we want. Well, that means that these are really high quality, and we only need a few of them to get ranked. So here's the website you want to rank. These are our network of sites that we go out and get, and then we push votes back to our site. And it's fast, and we have full control, and it's the highest quality link you can get. And so what we've seen is that, sometimes in local markets, just 2 or 3 of these types of links can pretty much get you to the top of page 1. In more competitive markets, something like an Empower Network, you might need more like 20 or 30. Okay, but it will always rank you, even in cutthroat markets. It's just that the higher the competition, the more you'll need. In the grand scheme of things, even 20 of these means you'd have to go out and get 20 sites that you own to be able to link from. That's still like exponentially faster and easier than going out and getting 20 similar links from sites that you don't own, which is going to be just like this huge, tedious, ridiculous process where you're going to have to be begging and cutting favors and writing all kinds of free content and doing all kinds of things. Okay, so again, we're going to make the right blog, we're going to make the right content or have the right content for our local clients, and then we're going to get the right links. And how we're going to get the right links is we're going to go out and we're going to acquire sites that we can build the perfect backlinks from. So backlinks, remember, are the votes, and the better the votes and the more votes you have, the higher you rank in this guy right here, Google. And that means pretty much as much of this stuff as you want to make. Okay, guys, I know I was all over the place. I know I covered a lot. Without a doubt, some of you will have questions, but it was important for me to make this so that you kind of have an understanding of what I'm even going to be talking about as we go through. And just remember, guys, this is coaching. This is coaching. This isn't a video course. Obviously, we have sort of the videos that map out the blueprint, because that's just smart, that's efficient. We don't want to have to reteach this on an individual basis to everyone. But remember, this is just so that you can get 90% of it, so we don't have to repeat ourselves nonstop to every new client that signs up, because we're going to have a ton of people signing up. But with that being said, we are here to help you and hold your hand. Do not let any of this technical stuff scare you or turn you off or paralyze you, with this fear of the unknown, or, wow, that sounds complicated. It's not hard. It's always going to feel a little uncomfortable at first, but you're going to have to jump in and do it, and it's going to become second nature so freaking fast, I guarantee you. And every step along the way where you feel unsure, scared, helpless, whatever, guess what? You go to the Facebook group, you say, hey, Profit Pimp, number 1 stunner, I was following through this step on this video. I see what you did here. I got to this step. Now I don't know what to do. What's up? We're here to hold your hand. You're never going to get stuck, because we're always here to help you. So if you go through something and you don't understand it, you have questions, you get stuck, you're confused, just ask. And then we'll help you, and we'll get over it. There's nothing here that we can't overcome together. So this is coaching, right? This isn't just another lame video course. We are here to help you and support you and make sure that you never get stuck on anything. So this is just the overview. It's a lot to take in for newbies that have never done SEO before, but trust me, the blueprint is going to be over the shoulder in the videos that follow. And then the real benefit, though, what you're really paying for, is our support and our ability to be there, to hold your hand, to answer your questions, to get you over these hurdles, to help you out, especially if you're like a champagne room client. We're going to be even helping you do a lot of this stuff. So that's that, guys. Hit me up with any questions. Hit us up in the Click Facebook group, and then continue on with the videos. Talk to you soon. Peace.